Hey everyone, so in the last couple of tutorials we went over how PantheonOS can be used to essentially carry out different specific rigorous workflows for whatever kind of research that you're conducting. Now in this tutorial we're going to go over how you can customize the PantheonOS platform to your specific needs, specifically using a feature called Pantheon-Store. Pantheon-Store is a repository of different skills that can be installed that different agents can have access to carry out different functions. And you may run into a situation where there's a specific skill that you want agents to be able to carry out and have access to, specifically for different use cases within PantheonOS, but it's actually not found by default on the platform. So you're gonna have to go into Pantheon-Store, find the skill, and install it. And I want to kind of go over all of that and how you can do that directly on the PantheonOS platform. So the first step is to go into the bottom left panel and click on the wrench icon. And first I'm going to kind of go through these different tabs. So on the Teams tab, you have the different teams that you can work with. So teams are just groups of agents that can do specific things. So I've been working with the general team for all these different tutorials. If you want a group of agents that are specifically good at making graphs, you would want to use your graph maker team. If you want to work with a specific group of agents that are specialized for single cell analysis, you'd want to work with the single cell analysis team, etc., etc. And I'll briefly go over how you can create teams. So you click add new, and then there's an option to browse the store, but the store doesn't really have new teams that you can install. If you hit create new, actually I'm going to exit out of this really quickly. If you hit the team tab first, and then hit create new, it'll take you to, well, first you have to give your team a name. So I'm going to give it name team, and then you can add as many agents as you want in the main panel. So you click add agent. I'm just going to add one agent for the sake of an example. I'm going to add this, and then if you want more agents, which you presumably would for a team, you just drag, click add agent again, and then add more teams, or add another agent, and then so on and so forth. But for now, we'll just save this. Let me give this a name first. Team. I'm gonna hit create. And now here's team. And you can always go back to, you can also change the team again. So for example, I'm gonna click team, and then I can always edit it. And so as you can see, I tried creating other teams as well. S and then team with a capital T. They're obviously not on default in the platform. Neither is new dash whatever that is. They are obviously not on default on the platform. They're just teams that I tried creating. If I go over to the agents tab, actually let me exit out of this really quickly. If I go to the agents tab, you can see the different agents that are at your disposal. And these agents will call different tools and different skills. If you want to be able to create your own agent, you can hit add new, create new, and then you can enter an agent name, give it S, description, whatever you want. And then you can also, I'm going to skip instructions really quickly, and then I'm going to go to tool sets. So tool sets, you can add different tools, which are really specific functions that the agent can carry out, in addition to calling different skills. So for example, if you want the agent to be able to go into different files, you're going to want to include a file manager in the tool set. If you want it to be able to write and read code, you're going to want to add a Python interpreter. If you want it to be able to go into the web, you're going to want to add a web tool in the tool set. So this is just on top of different skills. These are tools that can allow the agent to actually physically do things. And on top of that, the agent needs instructions on exactly what its function is, what to call when. It needs detailed instructions, and the instructions section of when you create an agent is where you can do that. Here you want to detail exactly why you're creating the agent, what you want it to do, and if you want to be more specific, how it should call different tools and different skills in different scenarios to allow it to carry out its function. You want to be able to specify that so that the agent can act autonomously on its own and carry out and have all the functionality that you want it to. So I got sidetracked, so I'm going to go back. Now that I've talked about teams and agents, I'm going to go to skills. So skills on top of tools are essentially different things that the agents can do that are really important for really all research functions. So this includes image processing, figure styling. This includes the live view, being able to call live view. This includes structural biology, different single cell functionalities. So all these skills are very, very important because the agents can call them on top of tools to do specific things. And they obviously decide to call these different skills on their own. But sometimes you need new skills that are just not found on default on the platform. So to do that, you can click Add New. So if you click Browse Store, we have a repository of over 2,300 skills that we have created and collated into Pantheon-Store. And you can select any skill you want, click Install, and it will install the skill into your platform. So for example, let's say I want a skill that can work with FastQ files. So that goes with, for example, bio-paired and FastQ. Say I want to be able to work with FastQ files, and obviously that skill is not really found on default on the Pantheon platform. I can click bio-paired and FastQ. I can click Install. And then I get the installed notification, so I can X out. And then I'll try and refresh this. So I've fully refreshed, and as you can see, if you go into the sequence IO folder, you can see the paired and FastQ skill that we installed. So it installs directly on the platform, and now this is able to be called directly by agents if it fits the prompt that you're passing into the platform. Now, if you don't have these different skills installed, what will happen is the agents will look for ways to carry out the prompt and the analysis that you're asking for, and eventually be able to have the same functionality, but it's less efficient and it'll take longer. By installing skills directly onto the platform and giving agents direct access to exactly what they need to carry out the analysis that you want, it allows a platform to carry out your analysis and essentially give you rigorous analysis as fast as possible. And so our repository of over 2,300 skills really gives you everything that you need to conduct quick, efficient analysis that's also scientifically rigorous. And so yeah, that is really just an overview of our teams, agents, and especially skills, as well as how to use Pantheon Store to kind of maximize the functionality of the platform. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next one.